Legal immigrants enrich our nation and strengthen our society in countless ways. I want people to come into our country in the largest numbers ever, but they have to come in legally.
So the president wants more legal immigrants. We already get a lot of legal immigrants. Nearly 2 million came to this country in 2017, and most of them came on the basis of a single fact. Did someone from their family get here first? So basically, it's a system based on genetics rather than merit, and that has a downside, one that we have not talked about very much on this show. Many qualified people who should be living here and would benefit the United States if they did are denied admission or the ability to stay. Christine Mikolajuk is one of those people. She did not make the cut. She spent a decade following the rules. She went to Harvard. She speaks fluent English. She's highly qualified. She spent 14 years applying for a green card, and then she moved to London. She joins us tonight. Christine, thank you very much for coming on.
Hi, Tucker. Thanks for having me.
So you didn't, you already seem American, I would say. I guess you spent that long.
Thank you.
What did you learn about the system? What does the system value? Who gets in on the basis of what criteria?
Sure. And the trouble with the legal immigration system is that at the moment, it really only privileges families. 70% of green cards are given to people because of their family and whether they have a connection to a citizen already. And that's fine. You know, you should be able to bring in a spouse. But the problem is that there's a really big imbalance. Only 10% of green cards are given to people because of their jobs and their skills.
So did they say to you, you're clearly dangerous, or we think you're going to go on welfare? Do they even care about that, or do they just say you don't have a relative here tough?
Well, no, that's the difficult part of it. So I spent 12 years working to be eligible to apply. So I came here for college, I got all the right jobs, I got my employers to sponsor me, I waited in line, I seemingly did everything right. And then we applied. It took 2 years for them to answer. And then at the end of the day, it all came down to a government bureaucrat feeling like he didn't like what he saw.
I'm sure you've been asked this before,
Sure.
Would it not simply have been easier to go to Tijuana, I'm serious, and cross over and disappear into the huge unaccounted mass of illegal aliens in our country?
I wanted to do it the right way.
Okay.
So I wanted to follow the rules.
Were you rewarded for that?
No.
Oh.
So I did have lawyers who suggested semi-seriously that I should just marry an American because that was easier than following the rules. But I didn't want to do it that way. So I wanted to do it the hard way, the long way, the honorable way. You know, I wanted my life in America to start off on the right foot. And unfortunately, that didn't work out. And this happens to a lot of people. So I think 14% of my graduating class was foreign. And these are people who have big dreams of coming to America, going to its great schools. They want to create a life here. They love it here. And then once they graduate, they have to leave. And most of those people, most of those 14%, now live elsewhere. And they can go elsewhere. They can go to Canada. They can go to the UK. They can go to Australia, New Zealand, because America makes it so hard to stay here if you're applying on the basis of your skills and your education.
If you're impressive. Last question, based on what you've learned. Your English is perfect, native.
Thank you.
Okay? You obviously love America. You spent more than a decade trying to stay here. So you're assimilated in the way that is meaningful. They didn't care about that?
Assimilation does not count. And that's a really unfortunate thing, because when you're actually applying to become an American, when you're applying for citizenship, there's a citizenship test. You're asked questions about the Constitution, you're asked questions about the Founding Father, you're asked all of this in English. But when it comes to visas and green cards, that doesn't play a role at all.
Well, our loss is London's gain. Thank you very much, Christine.
Thanks very much for having me on the show.